course I tell white lies to my children. Who doesn't?
I also think that there's a sort of thin line between a lie and a good story.
A white lie would be, thank you for making dinner. I love it. Not, so disgusting.
In this day and age,
frankly,
we mistake
and
make the mistake.
you know, zip it. Hi, this is Mindy Roberts of themommyblog.net. You know, we came across this really interesting article in Redbook called The Lies We Tell Our Children. I thought, yeah, what else is new? It was a really great article talking about the circumstances in which we might tell white lies to our children, kind of tiptoeing around things that would probably do more psychological harm than good. For example, a white lie would be, thank you for making dinner. I love it. Not, so disgusting. What white lies do I tell my children? I tell them all kinds of things like, you know what, honey, your hair looks fine. Just we're gonna go to school like this and it's gonna be great. Or, no, I don't think the haircut's too short. It looks great on you. That kind of stuff. You know, what good does it do to tell you, holy crap, you look like you lost 50 IQ points with that buzz cut?
Of course I tell white lies to my children. Who doesn't? I think it's part of being a parent and sort of exercising that editorial control over the information that your kids get about what's going on in the world. It's important to remember that our children are little. They're children. They can't necessarily take in nor understand all of the harsh realities of the world.
I was conflicted at first on whether or not we were gonna do the Tooth Fairy, Santa Claus, like were we gonna do all those things? Because essentially, you know, it is basically lying to your kid. And at first I had a problem with that. And I talked to my mom about it, and what she did with us was whenever we asked her, Mom, is there a Santa Claus? She'd turn it around on us and say, well, do you think there's a Santa Claus? And of course I'd say, yeah, totally. And she'd kind of shrug and say, well, there you go.
There's the white lie, which is what you tell that doesn't really do any real harm, but it's mostly to preserve somebody else's feelings. There is the outright lie where I'm telling you something that's not true with the intent to deceive. And then there's the lie of omission. This is my favorite one because a lot of times I've gotten into arguments with people about whether or not a lie of omission is a lie.
I think that perhaps the lie of omission is a smart parenting tool. I remember when September 11th happened, one of my children was in preschool, and the preschool teachers asked us very pointedly to shield our children from the news of this disaster as much as we could. They had children asking if their school was going to be destroyed.
I agree with you, Mindy. I also think that there's a sort of thin line between a lie and a good story. We were coming out of Trader Joe's and Archer let go of his balloon and it floated up into the heavens, and he flipped out. I mean, hysterical that this balloon was going away, and it was a hard moment because he could actually watch it leave. And I explained to him, you know, well, the balloon is going to the balloon party in the sky, and it's gonna eat balloon cake with balloon candles and balloon ice cream, and they're gonna balloon dance. And he kind of, you know, stopped crying and looked at me and was like, oh, well then, you know, that's fine.
If I am at all tempted to tell them a white lie, I make sure it's of the one-shot only variety, not the kind that require extended storytelling, you know, pulling it through a theme through a matter of weeks or months. No, I just can't handle that, and my kids are way too savvy to let something like that fly, because inevitably I will slip.
I really like the idea of turning it back because they do come up with some really good answers that maybe you wouldn't have come up with, and that way you get out of that pothole of over-explaining and then, you know, not being able to remember it, or giving them some really odd ideas that they pass on to their friends and then they get laughed at.
Who's that, Mommy? That's a transvestite hooker. You know, she or he is doing what he/she can to make money. That's what they do for a living, and it's different from what Mommy and Daddy do for a living, but that doesn't necessarily make it, you know, wrong. illegal maybe, but I think wrong is relative.
Join the Momversation at momversation.com.